So before this episode starts, one, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Hopefully you stick around for the whole thing. It was a while. Jeremy's being the Price is Right show person right now. But we're going to be giving away 2 signed posters from Craig Holloway. If you, Jeremy, zoom in on the autograph up there. You can see it in there. It's signed by Craig. It says Holloway 24. But there's that poster with Sworn Enemy, Freya, Lionheart, CDC. And then there's another one. This Terror, Born from Pain, Stick to Your Guns, Trapped Under Ice. And these are old posters too, because the band links all at the bottom have MySpace URLs, which I thought was kind of funny. Go to our YouTube page, subscribe to it, follow us on Instagram, follow Craig Holloway on Instagram. All the links for all that will be in the episode description and on all social media. Comment on the post for your chance to win. You have to comment. That is the way that the winners are chosen. You can't just like it or just share it. Like, I'm gonna see, I need to have a comment, so do that. If you are subscribed to our Patreon and you're a paid member, you will receive 5 entries to the giveaway instead of just 1. So if you're really wanting these posters, that'll be a way to have you get a leg up in the competition there. And we appreciate you guys listening, and good luck to everybody who enters. So welcome back to Noise Avocation Podcast. I am Ryan here with Jeremy and Mr. motherfucking Craig Holloway. How you doing, man?
Hello,
Doing
sir.
good. How are you?
Good.
Hello.
Appreciate you taking the time to do this. If you would have told teenage me that we'd be sitting in a podcast interview with you, I would have told you no fucking way.
Yeah, dude, when I was a kid, you were just a name, like a name on a poster, a name in the fucking seat, like, who's this Holloway, dude?
And you always had the coolest name, too.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know your face until, you know, like, social media stuff got more popular. And then, but, like, you see the Holloway tag, and you're like, this is probably just one badass dude. Like, the artwork, everything, like, always fucking loved it.
Yeah,
So
dude.
it's
Cool.
definitely
Great.
cool to be talking to you.
I appreciate doing it.
So before we get into like sort of the history of things, you just played This Is Hardcore recently, about a week ago. It
Yeah.
was in Philly. How was that for you?
It was great. It was fun to get together with the guys, do a quick couple rehearsals before we headed out. It was real cush. We went with the Joey Drink Tickets and Eric Walls. They had the Coffin Cats. The War Wagon is really nice, souped up, like a Sprinter van.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
sick.
Our RVCs were super comfortable, and they did all the driving. They were so pro, and they made it so easy for us, and it was just no complaints. It was fun.
I seen a picture with Joey in there, and I was like, what the fuck? Coffin Cats aren't playing that, are they? I was like, what's he doing?
So
Yeah.
you just got to chill out on your ride there and relax, basically? Yeah. Fuck yeah, rock star living, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell
And
yeah.
they did merch and carried us around. You know, it was great.
So then you just focus on the show. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and we got there on Friday. We didn't play till Saturday, but we set up shop on Friday. We were there Sunday too. We were
Awesome.
there the whole. So we got to see every band.
Nice.
It's cool.
Did you, I thought I seen a picture by the Rocky Balboa Memorial.
Yeah, we did a little sightseeing. Yeah,
Yeah.
on Saturday we jetted out. We got Uber and Jesse, Matt, John, and Amy, Jesse's fiance. We went out and went to the stairs where he ran up the stairs, and they had a statue right next to it and a couple of really nice painted murals. So we did the touristy photo ops. So it was cool.
Nice. I've always wanted to see that mural because I'm a huge Rocky fan, but I've never been to Philly, so one day I'll get over there, though. It's not terribly far
Yeah, I don't
from
care
here.
how cheesy that sounds, man. Everybody's got to run up those fucking steps, you
Hell
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do the whole Nutty Professor thing.
Oh, yeah, or he's like bouncing around.
The Sherman Clump, yeah.
Mhm.
They had banners saying like November 9th, I believe, they had the Rocky Run. So I don't know how many people go out for that, but it's got to be a spectacle.
Oh, shit, yeah, where they run through the neighborhood and everything?
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I didn't know they did. That makes sense, though. It's probably a pretty big charity thing.
Yeah. It's very cool.
So the show at This Is Hardcore, I seen some of the videos, and I don't know if maybe like the storm that was going on or what's kind of like tied into the turnout for the show, but it seemed like it was not quite as wild and big as I was expecting it to be. It's just from a video perspective. I wasn't there, so I'm not, I don't know for sure. But
Well, it was overall, I don't know the exact number, but it seemed like, a lot. Like I'd say anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000.
yeah.
And when they had this outside, this year they had the whole parking lot turned into like a vendor station where they had all the tents and people were selling everything, like shirts, records, food. They had some food vendors. They even had a inflatable castle where they were tattooing people.
No,
And everything. And they had this gigantic Red Bull tent with a full-on bar in there.
Fuck, dude, that's a dream for me,
Your
dude.
fucking tent, dude.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a hot, really hot day.
Yeah.
So people were hanging out there, even in the heat, and being, in between bands, every 15, 20 minutes, the sets were kind of short. They'd go out there, or some people would just chill out there the whole day. And it was sunny. I mean, there was a threat of rain, but it was sunny. I didn't think it was going to rain at all. And all of a sudden, it just bam, came in, rushed. I mean, it came in hard too. We were fortunate. We were being spoiled. We had a green room, and the place was cold. I mean, the AC was cranked, so it was nice. We spent a lot of time there, and it was so bad that the plumbing in the toilet started. There was waves in the toilet. I've never seen that.
Fuck.
Wow, that's
crazy.
how
bad the storm was outside, and it demolished everything, took away everybody's tents and stuff. And some people panicked, and they raced home. And there was lightning, so of course they shuffled everybody inside. And this was probably around, I can't remember exactly when All Out War set started, but they were on stage, I remember, and the place was packed. You didn't see that big dopey horseshoe opening in the front of the
Yeah.
Everybody was there enjoying the show, and it was crushed in there. It was really cool. And then I didn't know about the storm. I knew it was raining, but I didn't know it was as bad as it was. And well, side note, I was watching the performance. I was up in the balcony. They had like an upstairs level, and the funniest thing, there's a little opening, and I could see this guy got out there, and he started doing his dance moves, and all of a sudden, all this paper went flying. This wallet flew out of his pocket.
Oh,
money went everywhere. So everyone started doing floor punch, picking it up.
Yeah, dude, picking up pennies.
Some of them gave it back to him, some of them just pocketed it. But it was the funniest thing. I felt bad for the guy, and even Mike noticed it when they were performing, because I talked to Joe. But after they got done playing, Joe got on the microphone and said, "Hey, look, we need you to settle down. Basically, it's wet outside. Either you're dry here. We can't let you go outside because of the lightning. We have to wait 30 minutes." And every time it got close to 30 minutes, there'd be another strike. So people were getting a little restless, and a lot of them wanted to leave. I guess, well, he said like 50 people just skated, but he said, like, if you leave, you're on your own. You can't come back. So it was great for All Out War, because everyone was packed in. And then there was like 100 Demons that came on after. Might have been one more band. It might have been Tsunami. And then by the time we got there, doors were open. People were out there trying to salvage their stuff. There wasn't a whole lot of people, but there was at least 1,000 to 1,500 people still in there, because there was a whole balcony full of people. There was a lot of people, but nobody wanted to get their face smashed up by the stage. So there was that big empty space. It looked like there's no activity, but there were people, but they're in the back. They didn't like it.
And that's why I said, like, it looked like it was hard to tell from some of the videos, because you get a certain camera angle, so you could be only seeing, one small section of the building, and that section might look like it's a little cleared out, but behind that is wall to wall, elbow to elbow people. So it was hard to tell, but just from the videos, I was like, man, it looked like not like a huge turnout like I was expecting, and I didn't know if that was just due to the weather or what.
I think the weather had some impact, because they wanted to go out there and salvage their stuff, and I can totally understand that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there was no like electronic issues to where you guys just couldn't play at all, to where they had to like shut the whole thing down. So that, that was, because that could have easily went south there, and that would have been horrible for the fest.
Yeah, they run a tight ship over there, and Greg was doing the managing on stage, and we were ahead of schedule. Everything was just ran smooth, and that was the only hit really was that storm. You can't control that.
Right. Yeah,
Well, it
that's-
sounded good. I watched the YouTube video of it, you know, the like 48-minute set or so, and
Yeah.
no, it sounded good, and I like that you play a Rickenbacker. I didn't really
Thank-
catch that until like I don't know. I was watching it and I'm like, oh shit, he's not just grabbing like some jazz fucking Fender, you know. So you know they have that sound, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And I like how you guys do the vocals because every time I've seen Cold as Life, which was like twice. No, I only saw him once now because the first time I didn't make it all the way. Like I lost my
consciousness.
but but it's like packed, you know what I'm saying? And I'm never really like I'm like not really paying attention as much to I'm just going off, you know. So then watching it this way, it's like I like how the vocals are done. It's like how Jeff's almost like a step behind. That shit sounds fucking cool. And it came through nice on did they record that on a board or anything or is it just that's just it?
I don't know. I know Sonny was there recording, and they recorded the October 7th show on a board. So maybe his
Oh,
version
that'd
will
be
have
cool.
audio.
Yeah,
But,
that would be
yeah,
cool to
those
get
guys
like a
work hard.
live performance of it, like a whole
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, those guys work hard. Vocals. It's
I
real
like the
important.
Black Christmas show because there was like little kids and stuff getting pulled up there, and it was like, it was so cool, man. It's just like not what you would think of to the outside world would say Cold as Life, and there's like, you know, little kids fucking, and it's
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah, they're
man.
going off.
It's
Awesome.
cool to see, but like when you think about like the old history of Cold as Life and like those old like videos of Blondie's shows and the stories and everything, like at the time you're like, this is not a place for children at all. But it's cool to see now that they can
Now
get
it's a
up
place
and-
for kids?
Yeah, now they can jump around, have fun too, and everybody gets to enjoy it somewhat.
Yeah, we're all older now and have our own kids.
Fucking A.
Got
So that was the first time you've played with Cold as Life since like back in like the 2017, 2018 run, was it? Or was there another time before that?
Well, the first show was the October 7th show,
Mm-hmm.
and the Black Christmas, and this is
Oh, that's
hardcore.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
This is hardcore. So I don't know if you know, and I don't remember, but Motor City Fest 2016, Cold as Life played there, and it was with Jesse singing. Were you playing at the time? I don't remember. It was at Corktown. Were you? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did the Jesse and Roy lineup too with Matt, who's also on guitar now, and we had a guy TJ.
Yes.
Was
Yeah,
Jim.
we know TJ.
Right
It's
on.
the same TJ, right? That we're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Escalation
TJ
of Force.
Enemies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He did like we did a handful of shows. We did a little mini tour. We went up to Montreal, and I think he was with us when we went to Baltimore. So yeah, we started out. We did a little West Coast tour with Roy's version, and we also went to Europe with Roy's version, and as a 4-piece though. And then we came back and we added DJ.
Yeah, because I couldn't. It was at Corktown, and it was pretty like tight quarters, and like the whole. I got there kind of late, so when I believe you guys played upstairs, and so I went upstairs to like get in during the show, and like the minute I walk up the stairs, it's like boom, you're stopped like right there. I'm like, oh shit, like I can't even get. The stage is way up there.
Oh, is that packed?
So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
small area. I mean, it's like a long rectangle
marble
of a
bar, right?
room. Yeah.
Okay.
That was like the
Yeah.
only time first show that I'd been to there. And then there was, it was 2 days. So it was the first day was at Corktown, and then the second day was at Leland City Club, where Earth Mover played, and there was, I don't remember the rest of the lineup. It was a while back.
I don't know if I was at that one.
Yeah, I don't think Cold as Life played the second day. Not that I remember, because you guys played the first night, because you were like one of the headliners, and Murphy's Law was there. I can't think of who else off the top of my head. It was a while ago.
I don't think I was there then.
No, that's what I couldn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
you
know because
remember if
I
you
was
played
like,
with Murphy's Law, right?
yeah,
And I know I wasn't around for another Black Christmas because it was kind of a short notice for me to make travel arrangements. So John Music filled in on bass,
Oh, right
okay,
on.
yeah,
and he might have did a a Sanctuary show too. But you'd have to ask him.
You joined Cold as Life like way back in the day. When exactly was it?
I was probably, I might have still been in high school or just out of high school, like late 80s,
Okay.
I'd say.
It was,
Yeah.
and it was Cold as Life at the time. It wasn't Mattress Rats still.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
they just changed their name.
So
And
yeah, you were in the quote unquote glory days of Cold as Life.
Yeah, it was
When
like
the city was a
right
murder
after
city.
Full Circle.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's funny. Rob Parmenter was playing bass for them, and I don't even know if they played a show. They may have. Maybe it was a party, but he decided he couldn't do it for whatever reason, and he recommended me. He happened to be a Full Circle fan. We Full Circle. We were playing a house party in Cannes, Plymouth area,
Mm-hmm.
and the boys were there. Ron was there, and Jeff and Roy, and my band Full Circle was playing, and it was kind of weird because everyone knows Ron Beauty. He's got a reputation.
Yep.
So he was watching us, and we played a song, and he liked it. He goes, "Hey, play that one again." Well, right now? Like, okay, I'm not going to say no to Ron.
Yeah.
So we played it again, and then after the show, we started talking, and they asked me if I wanted to come over and try out. Basically, I think they were looking for a bass player, so I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And I had heard of Cold Life because I remember going to Blondie's, and back behind the bar they had a poster with the Cold Life and the Ivy and the two skulls,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking, "Damn, that looks hard. That's cool looking." So I was intrigued, and I went over there, and I mean, the songs, the early stuff is just like, it's awesome. I loved it. So yeah, we started jamming and we played some shows, and I was in the band probably about a year and a half. It's kind of hard to determine
Yeah,
the
that was
like.
a while back. So
Okay.
yeah.
And so it was going good, but I'm not gonna lie, the guys were a little too wild. They're kind of outlaws, you know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reputation.
Yeah. We've heard the stories.
And I was like, I love the music. I like the guys. I never had any issues with anybody. Like the only guy that never got punched or punched anybody in the band because they were always fighting. And I just knew that you're going to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time eventually. And we were getting to the point where, there's so many fisticuffs and fights at the shows that we were starting to get unable to get shows because, people were banned and were worried about violence and stuff like that. So I wanted to play, and I thought, well, man, I'm pretty much pussed out. I'll admit it. It's like, I don't know if I could hang with this.
Right.
So the icing on the cake for me was we were super excited. We saved our money and we went to a studio and we recorded that demo, Breaking the Law demo. And it was great. We spent the whole day there laying down the tracks, and then Ron did the vocals at the end. It's a long day. If you've ever been to the studio, are you guys musicians?
Nope.
I've been to like our own makeshift, but nothing
Yeah.
professional, man. But it's still aggravating when they make you play the same fucking thing 600 times.
Right. It can be a long day.
Yeah.
And so when you on your hands, there's no iPhones back then. So the next thing you do is you start drinking. And some of the guys got intoxicated. I won't name anybody's names, but we couldn't imagine who it was. We were all drinking. But long story short, it got violent at the end of the night. As we were leaving, somebody said something to somebody, and Ron went off and started, punching everybody. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? We just had a great day. We should be happy, right? Celebrate. And it got really ugly, and then Jay jumped in his van and tried to get away and almost ran Ron over. I'm like, this is fucking lame. So I'm like, because what makes me think that I'm not going to be,
The one getting
Yeah,
ran
the
over.
next-
caught in the crossfire. I have to take sides and separate the guys. Like, I know brothers fight and all that stuff, but it's like, all right, let's settle down here. Long story short, I bailed and got together with some guys, and we formed Ricochet, and we did that for a few years and went our separate ways. And then I moved to California in 95, and Cold as Life blew up. They put out those albums, and it's funny because I kept in touch with them. I actually drew that dragon when I was in California, the one that's behind you. And I was
So when you did the cover, you weren't even in Detroit at that time. You were already in California.
the dragon one.
Yeah.
I was in California,
Right on.
and I just sent it to them, and I go, hey, you guys could use this for a flyer or whatever. And the next thing you know, I think they mailed me back a CD, and it was on the back cover. So I was stoked. And then, I tried to start getting bands in California, didn't have much luck. And then ended up meeting my wife and moving to Texas in 2005. And then the guys in Ricochet wanted to do a reunion show. So we put on a show at I can't remember the name of the venue, but it was like a skate park
I was actually at that one.
Okay, cool.
I have the flyer over here for it that you actually did, which is pretty rad.
Right on.
But that was a good show with like Earth Crisis and Hellmouth.
Grab that thing.
Yeah,
I'll grab it.
Yeah, I think Anti Up might have played too.
Yep.
And
I think
Roy was there.
that dragon for sure is like the most iconic Cold as Life design.
Oh, cool. Yeah, the funny story is when I moved to California, I didn't have. I moved with a roommate that was living within Ferndale. Yep. What was the name of that place? Modern Skate
Park.
Right on. And I moved to California, and we first moved to Culver City because he had a brother that lived there. But for whatever reason, I wanted to be in the Bay Area. So I packed up and I left, and I didn't have any contacts back then. It was back in the days with beepers and payphones. So I was trying to find a place to live, and I ended up living on Berkeley campus as a houseboy in a sorority house. 25 years old, I'm like opening and closing the sorority doors on the house and getting them the breakfast and serving them meals on Mondays. And I got like a little pocket money, but I got free room and board, which is awesome. And I got to stay there during the summer when nobody was there. And then I got a job as a waiter at a bar in down there on Durant Street, right there, Durant Avenue. So it was cool. I met some cool people. I met Eric Ozine from Redemption 87, and he introduced me to Zowie from Leeway, and it was cool. But I just didn't have much luck finding a band to jam with. A couple guys. It was fun. Long story short, moved back to LA and met my wife. I was in a band. I was passing out flyers, Rose, and it was a place called Gasolina Alley, and talked to her, and we hit it off, and eventually we got married, had kids, and we got tired of living in California because for my job, I was doing a lot of commuting. Mm-hmm. So just drive 10 miles in LA would take 2 hours sometimes. And it's like, this sucks. So that's like a month, a year of just sitting in the traffic of your life. So it's like, let's get out of here. And then is before computers were like real, like late 90s, 2000. They weren't super dependent on computers. Yeah. So I'd have to go to this agencies and draw right there in the conference room at our desk or something like that. And but now I can work anywhere as long as there's Wi-Fi. But so we ended up moving to Texas because she went to the University of Texas, and her sister lived here with her husband and their daughters. And I'm like, oh, let's do it. And she took me to Texas once for South by Southwest Fest in, I think, 98. And it was cool. It's nice. I had no idea that Texas was humid before I got here.
Yeah, everybody says it's like a dry heat.
That's not true at all. It's super, super humid.
Yeah, and so it's just like Michigan, humid as hell then.
Yeah, but it's hotter.
Yeah.
And there's no lake to jump in?
Yeah.
Well, there are lakes.
Are there?
Actually, yep, there's quite a few tubing areas. People tube all the time, and yeah, it's pretty popular. And they got nice lakes they can like kayaking and stuff. There are ways to get away from the heat. A lot of AC.
So I read in another interview when you went over to California that you weren't overly impressed with the scene there and wish you would have went to New York. What was it that was like sort of underwhelming about it?
Well, I was like, New York, LA, and I thought, well, I love the music in New York. Mm-hmm. I love some bands from LA, the punk rock and all that stuff. But I knew New York was super expensive. I had been there before, played some shows, and I know that you can basically live out of your pocket. If you have no money, it's going to be a real struggle.
Right.
At least in California, it's warm, and you can sleep on the beach if you had to. So I decided to go to California because it seemed easier, honestly. And then, I couldn't find any hardcore bands, really. I mean, I looked. I mean, there was no Terror back then. But I found a couple bands, but overall, sorry, LA. But some people there were a little bit more less sociable. I wouldn't say not friendly, but it seemed like everybody kind of had an agenda, and we're like if you walk into a room at a party, they'll talk to you, they'll be friendly, but if they're looking over your shoulder to see if there's somebody that's more important that could advance their career farther, you just got left to lurch. So I'm not saying they weren't true or friendly, but it just seemed like the people were kind of like socializing and networking more than just being themselves.
Right.
So, and then they had some cool clubs to play. I mean, there's the Whiskey and the Roxy and Troubadour, and those are a lot of pay to play. So if you're a startup band, you're not getting in there unless you're like paying to play or like a headliner.
Or you have like a Motley Crue connection or something.
Have some sort of plug.
Yeah. So maybe I just don't know how to network, but I mean, there's some great talented people there. There's a lot going on. There's never a dull moment. Lots to do. Yeah. I miss it, but I miss the weather more than anything.
Yeah, I know. I've never been to California or New York, but I would imagine both at this point are pretty much just as expensive as each other. I mean, it's like those are the two like biggest thriving areas in the country and in some parts of the world too, really.
Yeah, well, you definitely got to check it out. Especially if I had to choose between LA or New York, I said, especially you guys, if you're into the music, you got to check out New York because it's a whole other planet.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was like I was gonna go to the East Coast no matter what, and that's just in my head. And then people that like now you included, people from like the Midwest don't seem to get along as much with the people from the West Coast. I don't know if that's attitude. I don't know if it's our dry sense of humor, but it's like I always hear that, where they're like, dude, they think I'm the biggest fucking asshole. And I'm like, why? Because I said this and this.
I think it's just sort of different cultures.
Yeah, definitely.
But like, because East Coast definitely has its own attitude, and that comes through in like all music, not just hardcore. I mean, hip hop's the same way. Like, West Coast had the G-Funk era and all that stuff that was like good vibes, lots of fun, and then like East Coast is putting out Mobb Deep and like dirty, grimy street stuff. And it was the same in hardcore too. Like you had, Warzone on the East and, whatever up and coming LA band was around at the time.
Well, you'd have like your Black Flags and your Circle Jerks.
Not that they weren't heavy or anything. It's just, it was a different sound,
it's totally
a different
attitude. Yeah, you're growing up in sun and shit, and then we're growing up in winter.
Yeah, like 6 months of
hell.
Sunshine.
I think a lot has to do with the Midwest accent too. They think far.
Yeah, like people think I'm from Canada all the time. My friends make fun of me.
I mean, we are pretty far up, so I guess.
I guess
we don't hear it, but I've heard other people that are like, oh yeah, there's definitely an accent there.
Yeah, it's funny because when we were doing the Cole's Life, we were out in Baltimore playing a show. We were staying at my buddy's house, and we were drinking and talking, and everybody was there, and somebody asked, "Who's got the strongest accent?" And they pointed at me, and I'm like, "Hey, how could it be me? I've been in California for the past 10 years, and then Texas another 10 years, but I out-accented the other guys that were living in Michigan."
That's
so I think
crazy.
That was
cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think, like, as far as East goes, like, Boston's got the strongest accent. Those guys have, like, an immediately identifiable accent. So, your artwork, like, what came first for you? Did you start doing art first and then get into music, or was it music and then art?
It was definitely art first, yeah. Okay. I loved, the Saturday afternoon Sir Graves Ghastly. I don't know if you guys remember that, or the Creature Features. Basically, they would have monster movies on during the day, and I love watching those shows. Or they'd have the Ghoul at night, and you just watch like Frankenstein movies. And what was cool about Sir Graves Ghastly, he was like this guy that dressed up as Dracula. In the beginning of the show, he'd come out of his coffin, and he had this whole shtick. But in the middle of the show, they would have like a segment where they would show the ghoulery, like the people, fans of the show would send in their monster drawings, and I would watch them. Oh my God, so cool! It'd be kids' drawings basically, and I always thought, that'd be good if I could submit something to that, but I never did. But I would draw up with monsters after I saw them, and just keep drawing. Like a lot of families, my parents got a divorce when I was young. I was 4th grade. And so, to entertain yourself, you don't have a whole lot of loot. So you're just drawing. It's inexpensive, and it's a good way to daydream and just kill time. And I enjoy doing it. And then once you're able to draw certain things and people start noticing you got an ability to draw, they're like, hey, that's cool. And they kind of build your confidence and try to do more stuff and keep at it. So yeah, I was always a kid in the class in the back drawing the teacher, not paying attention to the lessons and stuff.
Yeah.
Taking every.
We all were, but I never had I was never that good at drawing, so I was a professional doodler.
The best art lessons that I ever got, where I took every art class you could think of in, every elementary, middle school, high school, college. But the best instruction I ever got was from a local art store in Arizona. Oh, no, sorry, Arizona. I don't know where that came from. Livonia.
Yeah, that's fucking
far
odd.
stretch.
I don't know what's going on with nerves. But it's called Art Store and More. And they sold art supplies, but they also had art classes for whoever wanted to take them. And the guy's Dave Messing, he was the owner, and he was the best. He was just teaching all this stuff. And what was cool about him was he let you draw what you wanted to draw. There's a lot of times, like in high school especially, or in college, they go, well, we need you to draw this, it'd be like a boring still life or something. They didn't really emphasize using your imagination at all. They just wanted you to replicate like photography, basically.
Yeah, it was like more so the structure and the blueprint and the fundamentals of things rather than exploring your mind and stuff.
Yeah, which is good.
I ran into that too. Like I took graphic design and stuff in like high school and college, and there was always there was never like, okay, here's your project. You can kind of implement what you want and do what you want. It was more like make this box 3D and add shadows or something. Like it was very mundane and just repetitive.
Yeah. And I can dig that, especially for the beginner courses and stuff like that. But once you've learned that, you just keep teaching that over and over again. It's like, I think I got it. And some people learn at a different pace, of course. I had a class in college. I had graphic design. That was my major. And it was a typography class. And this is computers were around. This is like, late 80s, early 90s. But we had an instructor who was ahead of the whole department. She insisted that we just handwrite all the fonts. It's like, we don't need to be
Holy shit.
Right.
Yeah, that takes for fucking ever.
Yeah, so it's like, this is not going to be, something we're going to be utilizing in the next 3 months. It's not relevant now. Why are we wasting time? So that was a drag. But so I ended up moving to California just to kind of pursue music and career. I had gotten a job at J. Walter Thompson, which is an ad agency in Detroit. And I was an intern in the mat room, basically a gopher, just mounting up, ads on the foam course for presentations and stuff like that. And then one of the creative directors found out that I was a wrist and I could draw. So she had me doing a lot of her assignments, basically. So she'd have an idea, I could draw it out for her. Nice. And she basically got me a job as a junior art director there. And so I thought I was going to go that route, be an art director, because my friends were doing it. They had gone to Center for Creative Studies, which I wanted to go to as well because it's an amazing art school, but it's pretty expensive. So I went to Wayne State, and my dad, based on that Dave Messing's recommendation, that was the guy that owned the art store. He goes, I went to Wayne State, man, you should check it out. I go, okay, I'll do it. And my dad goes, yeah, if you go to Wayne State, I'll pay for it. I go, oh, well,
sold.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, because I'll pay for a master's program at CCS. I'm like, oh, even better. Okay, let's do that. Well, I didn't research it, and by the time I was a junior at Wayne State, found out they didn't have a master's program at CCS. But hey, I'm almost done anyways. So I did my internship, and they got hired on, and all my buddies that had art director jobs were in the same position as me, but they had lucrative, student loans to pay off because CCS is expensive. Mm. So me and my buddy, who was also art director, same as Jeff, we drove out to California to pursue that. And, I had a portfolio, but I was pretty green. It wasn't like I was going to be landing any jobs, but we went on interviews and stuff like that. And there were no bites. And so I kind of so what am I going to do? Out of boredom, I would go to comic book stores and try and get motivated to draw. And by this time, I thought I was an ad guy. I wasn't an illustrator. But I always wanted to get back into drawing. and I saw this flyer on the bulletin board saying, "Hey, come learn how to draw comic books. And it's free." So let's do it. So I went to like this class, and a bunch of older guys there. It wasn't like a bunch of little kids, so I fit right in. And there was guys there that were pursuing storyboarding, and I knew what storyboarding was because being an art director, we would hire them to draw our storyboards. And they were talking about, yeah, there's reps here. If you're good, they'll hire you and send you on jobs. I go, that's perfect, because I'm not the guy's going to knock on doors to go, hey, I like to draw.
Right.
Right. Terrible at that. So I went in. I got like a film book, and it said, okay, if you want to do storyboards, do a sample, get an action movie, and draw like a sequence, and then present that. So I rented Desperado, Antonio Banderas.
Yep.
In there where they open up the guitar case and there's all the weapons, and so I spent like 2 weeks drawing and coloring like 30 panels. Kind of picture. You guys know what a storyboard is, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So and then I went to the agency where the guys were like, yeah, it's called Storyboards Inc. It's in Venice. Done. So I go there, nervous as hell. I go, hey, I'm interested. Are you hiring? Basically, I got some samples, and I'll never forget. Woman's name was Jen Morrison. She took my papers. She looked at it and she goes, oh, well, that's good, but no one will ever hire you. That's about how long it took her to figure that out. I go, oh, ouch. Okay, well, can I ask why? She goes, because it looked like you took forever. You spent too much time on it. I go, oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
She goes, here, take these scripts. She has some scripts laying around. Loosen up. Just do these in black and white. Let's see what you can do. So I purposely went home and, really fast. And I hated them, but I did what she asked. I went back and she goes, okay, these will work. These are a lot better. And we'll send you out on a few jobs and see what happens. And this was back in November of '97, and I've been doing it ever since. I love it.
Nice.
Pretty cool. I get to work with, different agencies and work on different clients, different products. And it's good. And then I'm more of a commercial artist, so I get to do color and I get to do my detail and stuff like that. Versus like film. I don't do film because I guess I'm fast considering advertising spectrum, but as far as like film goes, probably not as fast. And get a union for that. It's pretty competitive. The difference between that film and like what I do for advertising, films they get hired on, and it's usually like a long project where we're talking months, and they usually get paid like a weekly rate or a monthly rate, and then they have to get a paycheck. Whereas my job, it might be just a day or it might be a week, and then I get paid by either the hour or the drawing. So I don't know. I've never done film, so it's hard to say which pays more, but I'm content with doing advertising. I like it a lot because I can spend time doing details and stuff like that.
And you can pretty much like freelance into so you're not tied to any contract. You can kind of go wherever you want to go with whatever company you want to go to, right?
I'm total freelance. I'm
You're your own boss.
Right.
Fucking A, man. Congratulations on making it like that. We're trying.
Thanks. It's a little scary sometimes because you're waiting around for a phone call unless you're like trying to get your own jobs. Right. I spent my downtime with doing commission for a lot of horror or music related art.
So when did you start becoming sort of the go-to guy for music art specifically? Like, because you've done stuff for tons of different band flyers, different album covers, a lot of the old iconic Cold as Life stuff. Like, when did that start to really take off?
Okay. Well, the old stuff I just did for show flyers or t-shirts designs, but it started picking up for me after I moved to Texas in probably '06. My wife was always bugging me to create a MySpace page. And I'm not in MySpace. Who bothers with that? And it wasn't as popular back then. I mean, this is still early on before MySpace kind of fizzled out. And she's like, a lot of bands do it. I go, all right, well, not the bands I like. I was being kind of a snob. Mm-hmm. And she give me some band names, and I'll look to see if they have a MySpace page. I go, okay, Crumbsuckers, Leeway, and Ooh. Bam Bam. They had them. So I started a MySpace page. And next thing you know, all credit to the mighty beast, Tom hit me up. He's like, hey, we're playing with Harley's War and at CB's. Can you do us a flyer? I'm like, yeah, sure. But who's gonna go to New York and put all these handbills up and hang them up in record stores? Like we used to do in the days. He's like, no, dummy, we're gonna do it online. Oh, okay, cool.
That's
One
funny
drawing,
coming,
you just gotta share it.
That's funny coming from Beast, because I know he's admitted like he's not the most technological savvy person too. So
Yeah. So I go, that's fucking brilliant. Let's do it. So I did it, and people noticed, and he went and I did a few more hating shows, and I did some flyers for him. And then I started getting hit up. And then out of the blue, I got a call from Roger asking me to do the Warriors album cover.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yes, sir. Well, it's funny because back in like 86 or 87, let's just say the late 80s, Agnostic Front were on tour, and they had Freddie with them. And that's back when Freddie was like 12.
Yeah.
And they were at Blind. And I was in Full Circle, and we were putting like our band flyers on people's windshields trying to get people to come to our show. And Vinny grabbed it, came up to me. Hey, you should draw for AF. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll do it.
Dream come true, dude.
Yeah, he's super nice, and he goes, yeah, you should draw for us. And he gave me his address, and I was so stoked that day. I went home and I wrote him. I spent probably a few hours drawing just on the envelope, sent it out, and never heard back. It's like, damn. And then fast forward, Full Circle. That was the name of the band I was advertising. Roger calls me on the phone, and he goes, hey, we need an album cover, but we only have like 3 days. And I go, well, what's the album called? He goes, Warriors. So I did a bunch of sketches, like 5 or 6 ideas, and he picked that one. And then he goes, hey, do you mind doing the whole CD and the layout and the typesetting? And I go, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, I've been real fortunate.
But that's like in 3 days you had to get all that completed, eh? Fucking crunch time, dude.
Yeah, well, which is kind of good because with storyboarding and advertising, you gotta be quick.
Right.
The quicker faster you are, because if you're not quick, they're gonna give it to the next guy. Because there's some tight deadlines, so you gotta hustle.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I know you did this cover as well.
Yeah, I love that cover.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Fucking
Rose and
so
I.
scary, dude.
Look that up. Now those are that's a tribute to Daryl. Daryl had that image, and I tried to incorporate it into the album cover with the skull where he's painted on the back.
Yeah, I have that. I have that skull tattooed.
Right.
Actually, not by Daryl, but
cool.
So on this record specifically, there was a question I wanted to ask you. So how this says Holloway Records right there.
Yeah.
Was that just for this album, or did you like have your own record company for a while? I didn't know if it was just like a
good
funding thing for Hate Inc. just for that record specifically, because a lot of the other stuff was like CTYC Productions, and like there was all that stuff. So why wasn't this Hate Inc. album part of the CTYC Productions and it was a Holloway Records collab?
Good question. Well, my wife and I, we decided, hey, let's get into the record business. So, seriously though, we decided, let's put out a compilation. We do a lot of bands, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but it's called Operation United Forces.
Yep.
Yeah, you got that right there.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
She sent it to us.
Yeah, Rose sent us a goodie bag of stuff.
Also,
shout out to Rose.
Oh, right on. Very cool. That's my old band too. So, and then we had a compilation, and the deal was like, if you bought one, then we would send one out who's a soldier who's overseas, and that was our first. And then we liked it. We had fun, and then Beast hit me up about doing a Hate Inc. I go, okay, let's do it. I've never done vinyl before, but I would love to. So we did that, and I enjoyed doing it. But honestly, the distribution actually, once you got the finished product, getting it into stores and stuff like that, I just didn't have the know-how or the energy to do it. So we didn't put out anything else. But I would like to.
Yeah, I was looking through some other stuff, and I was like, okay, like I got, all the Cold as Life albums, but A389 did all those. And I was just reading liner notes and everything and like trying to Google, and I'm like, damn, I don't know if there was any other like Holloway Records productions outside of just those couple things. So I didn't know if it was like you guys were planning on starting it, and it just kind of it's a lot of shit to do. So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot that goes into it.
I have this
Yeah.
is that Suffer 7-inch, and
Right
just
on.
since we're talking about, this one was put out by Demons Run Amok and Soul Food.
Yeah, that's a European label.
Yeah.
Even in Rock. Yeah, they do a lot of hardcore. Yeah. Yeah. Once we had all the albums laying around here, it's like, okay, that's when the reality hit. This is a lot more work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. And I felt bad because I'm like, you know, even though I financed it, it's like I feel like I'm letting the bands down if I'm not like pushing it and promoting it. So I thought, unless I can find somebody that's good at that, then I kind of feel like the bands are getting cheated a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I feel you. It's like if you can't, you want to be able to put 100% into it, and if you can, it's kind of like, I know somebody else can do it better, dude.
Right. Exactly.
So this record here, this Demos album, I have the CD as well. And when you read the liner notes, it says that you're on bass, like tracks 1 through 14 or something like that. Now, when you look at the CD, you're not listed on there. Were they different recordings or something, or is it just a typo error type of thing? Like they forgot to throw you in, or what?
I don't know, but yeah, that's my recording. That's my playing. That's when we had the fallout after that long studio session.
Yeah.
That was the day. Those were the same songs. I don't know the reason why I got omitted. I think maybe because I left the band.
Okay.
If you leave the band, yeah, it's your fault, basically.
Yeah,
maybe
it was like
maybe it's oversight, or maybe I'm just thinking too much.
I think you're just thinking too much, just because there's been so many fucking people in that band, like.
Yeah, there was a lot of revolving doors, like for a while.
Because they only put, one singer, one guitar player, I don't know. That's how I would take it.
But yeah, in the liner notes for this, it says Craig 1 through 14, and then it's Jake for like, 15 through however many other songs are on there.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if that was like.
But it's like
they
now at least we know
re-recorded
the
it or what.
truth, because we always thought it was fucking Jared or whatever, but it was you all along.
Who's Jared?
On the back of in the side of the CD. I don't have it with me.
I think it was Jake, not Jared.
Was it Jake?
I believe so.
Jake, yeah.
Jake.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Jake.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
obviously.
That's right.
I don't know where it got Jared.
Well, I mean, there have been a lot of bass players though. There could have been Jared.
Well, you were kind of like a double threat there because one, everybody needs a bass player. That's always it's bass player or drummer. Like you never need a guitar player or a singer. There's always people that will fill that gap. Drummers revolve around to a million different bands. Bass players are always needed because a lot of people are like, no, fuck that. I want to play guitar, or I want to sing, or be the front man, or whatever. And bass is a very important instrument to me. But along with you being able to design what you do and have the style of artwork that you do, you were like the whole package because they're like, okay, they can fill this gap, and then they can fill this gap. Like you brought a lot to the table for Cold as Life and for other bands too.
Cool. Yeah, I love bass. I mean, basically when I first started playing, my buddy and I wanted to join a band. Since I had bigger hands, became the bassist.
Simple as that, eh?
Yeah.
It's a cool instrument, though.
Strings is off. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it. Definitely, you got a fucking kick-ass tone coming out of there, though. So that's cool.
Thanks. I'm still working on that, though. I want to fine tune it. When we played This Is Hardcore, I turned on the power and it started getting all this feedback. So it's nuts. It was a little bit weird setup. We didn't have like the usual monitors, so nobody did. So everybody played it on the same stage, obviously. So it was a little challenge at first, but it was
nobody could hear anybody then, eh?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, drummer didn't have the monitor. It was kind of wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
That would be hard to play like that for sure. You just got to go off feel and sound of what you got on stage, and that's it.
Yeah. Have you ever watched any of those videos where it's like the drummer cam, and it's like...
Oh, like the overhead cam?
No, I mean, it's like right by the drummer. Oh. And so you can hear from his point of view, And like you're saying, if there isn't a monitor, I don't know how the fuck you would even know what was going on. Like it's
Yeah.
because it's just like you can't hear because everything's going that out.
I think it's just practice, timing, and
Yeah,
cues
playing them
from the
every
rest of
day,
the
fucking
band. Yeah,
millions of times. But it is pretty
muscle
crazy.
memory.
They're the band leader. They're the metronome. They set the pace. So
Yeah.
I don't do it any other way. I mean, it's tough because we've got a lot of feedback in songs, and then Jeff will come in with a riff, and sometimes you can't even hear the riff. You're like looking at his hands, and so you got to be on your toes. And yeah, Jesse's he's a total pro. Shout out to Jesse for sure.
Yeah, man, you're the shit, dude. Thank you.
There was a question. So your wife sent us the video of the Rocket Mortgage commercial that you did. I wanted to know what you did in it, like, because I was looking for like either some animation style of yours to pop out, or just you to come out with like He-Man or something. And what did you do in the commercial? Was it just the animation of the characters and stuff?
Well, okay. I'll kind of break down what I do. Storyboarding in general is like, let's say you have a script. Let's just say it's for a movie or a commercial, and you're like, I got this idea, but I don't know exactly how it's supposed to look. So you'll hire a guy like me, and I'll be your like visuals. I will draw it out, kind of like a comic book or a cartoon Sunday morning paper, like a comic strip.
Yeah, like Beetle Bailey and stuff.
Yeah, you show what happens in the commercial, and then like a movie, you draw it out before you start filming. Because if you film it and you show the client, you're like, hey, this is what we did. How do you like it? It's so expensive to film and edit and do voiceovers.
Way too many people.
Yeah. If they don't like it, that's a big waste of time. But if you hire me, I could draw it out for you, and they'll have like a script, and they go, this is what we're thinking about. We'll open up on the car, sitting in the driveway, and then it goes through the neighborhood, whatever. And then at the end of this thing, he's sitting at the family table, basically. So they get a visual. And what I did for the Rocket Mortgage is I drew the commercial, and then they just filmed it. So there's none of my artwork is in the finished product.
Okay.
And none of my the jobs that I've been doing for the past 30 years will you see any of my actual drawings.
Okay.
You just did
like,
all the storyboards.
Right. I'm doing the blueprint. Like if you're a construction worker, I'll draw the blueprint and you build the house, basically.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And a lot of times I'll be on the couch and I'm like, this commercial looks familiar. Not recognizing it right away. Because sometimes they change a little bit.
That's pretty funny.
And like, oh yeah, I worked on this. So
That
got
would
a
be
question.
bizarre to be watching TV and just be like, oh yeah, I did that.
In your storyboard, did you add Castle Grayskull?
No, that's their
That's
idea.
them?
That was there.
Man.
Yeah,
See,
they
I
are.
was
That was
thinking-
your idea.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because we were watching it yesterday, and we were kind of like, I wonder exactly what he did, or like I was like, it's got to be the Castle Grayskull thing, like that's up his alley, like maybe it's his He-Man set, like I don't,
No, if anything, I might create camera angles which will inspire them to film them a certain way. The only time that I ever really had artwork be presented was I got hired by this company called Picture Mill, and they did a lot of trailers and intros to movies. You see the credits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And one time they hired me to do a new intro for Roseanne Barr. After her TV show Roseanne, she was a talk show host, and she had like an audience like Ellen, basically.
Yep.
And people would call in, and they had like people on computers, and they did online stuff. But they wanted to do intro. I guess the show wasn't doing so great, and they wanted me to create a caricature of her as a bumblebee. It's like, all right. So I just drew this chubby bumblebee with her face, and they go, okay, cool. We'll show the people at Roseanne, and we'll let you know. I go, okay, cool. And you think you're in and out, you're done, you never think about it again. And then they came back, they're like, okay, we're going to work on it a little bit more. Like, this is a couple weeks later. I go, all right, cool. I got there, and they're like, here, we want to show you a video. And they had an actual video taping of one of the shows, and Roseanne's sitting on her couch, and she said, hey, we're thinking about, hey, I need your opinion, everybody, be honest. We're thinking about redoing the show, and they want to draw me as a bee. And she held up my drawing of her as this bumblebee to the audience. And she goes, what do you guys think?
That's awesome.
Like, what? Watching the video I think, because she actually held my drawing, like, oh, shit. And I guess it didn't, they're like, yeah, we love it. which is great, but the show got canceled like a couple weeks later, so didn't stand for
Damn.
Roseanne. So
Jerry
but that was
Seinfeld shut that down. He was like, "I'm doing the B movie,
Yeah, I
Roseanne.
guess.
Fuck off."
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't get any free samples. Like if I work on I just did a Reese's peanut butter cup commercial, which hopefully will be in the Super Bowl this year. That Rocket Mortgage one was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it was bittersweet because Matthew Stafford was in it and they won for the Rams. So I'm a big Lions fan, but that was cool. And that was the first time I ever got my spot in the Super Bowl. So hopefully this year I can get in there again. Especially if the Lions go Lions. But
So if you get a commercial like in the Super Bowl, do they give you like it's some sort of bonus? Because I know the advertising during that is fucking bizarre. Like it's
No.
millions of dollars like per
You're
minute.
just getting bragging rights.
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's worth it on its own to me. How many people in the world can say they have worked on a commercial during the Super Bowl? Like,
Yeah.
not that many, or at least not that many that we know.
Not this guy.
It's fun. It's exciting. It's my Oscar, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Your Emmy. Yeah. So aside from like Rocket Mortgage, you said Reese's. What are some of the other companies that you've worked with doing commercials and storyboards and etc.?
Tons. McDonald's, Burger King, a lot. Most of my jobs now are pharmaceutical. Like, I swear, like irritable bowel syndrome. You would not be surprised how many medications. Like 85% of all advertising is ads for medication now.
It's fucking gross, man.
Yeah, in the United States and New Zealand are the only two countries that permit that.
Yeah. That's
Illegal.
one of the biggest money makers in the country.
Yeah, it's some cultural shit. Because you would know better. I haven't been to Europe, but apparently Europe is not like, here, you got a problem, take this. They're like, you'll figure it out. You don't need fucking, I don't know, different culture, capitalism.
Right, yeah.
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, they're just giving you prescriptions because they make money.
That's crazy. 85%, eh?
Well, I know there's like
Yeah.
certain areas of the world that will like Twinkies, for example, like in some countries are bizarrely expensive because they're just fucking awful for you, and it's supposed to
Twinkies.
be a way to get you
Oh,
to
I
not
gotcha.
buy them instead of just loading your grocery cart with Little Debbie's or whatever. Like cigarettes too. Like I know I've talked to people in Australia that their cigarettes come in like packs of 40, but they're like $30 a pack or something like that because they want to encourage you to like not smoke. And I don't know if that's the whole country or if it's just like in a certain area, but
Do they
Yeah.
make their own? Yeah, I guess I don't know if they make their own tobacco there, so to have it shipped in would
I have no
pack
idea.
of fucking Marlboros be
What's
pretty
always
expensive
bizarre to
over
me
there.
about medication commercials is you'll have 10 to 15 seconds of like, okay, this medication takes care of this and this. And then the
Yeah.
last 45 to minute of the commercial is side effects include, and
Yeah.
it's like this.
I always like the STD ones because it always seems like they're like, oh, you got herpes, got drunk, and, did some nasty shit. But look, it's all paradise now. It's like black and white, and they're riding in a fucking
Yeah.
Hawaii. I'm like, that's a lie. Like, how
Yeah.
does that? It's just crazy. But
Yeah.
I guess, that's what sells. Like, you probably could have done a storyboard like that, eh? Some fucking,
Possible.
who knows,
Yeah. Yeah, I got it later today, doing some Toyota truck commercials. So
Oh, that's what's up.
yes, next
So
on the agenda.
I know you do some designs for Pallbearer Press and like some other companies as well.
Yeah,
You make what are called throbble heads, which I assume is just bobbleheads. Is bobblehead a copywritten thing? Is that why it's named different?
I think so. I think that
Okay.
has something to do with
Is
That
there
Vinny
a
stigma is fucking cool.
significance to the throbblehead name? Like, was that just something that you guys thought of, or was that pallbearer?
Clint, who runs Ergonomics, he came out with it. He decided to call. I'm not. You know what? He told me why he calls it Bravo Heads, but I don't remember the answer. Well, yeah. Here's a couple I did. I got to do the Fiend, which is cool. I
Yeah,
just saw
that's
the mist
dope.
in this one.
There's the Vinny. Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
sick.
We've done
Oh
a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, I
A
have
lot of
seen
probably
those.
a couple dozen at least. You know, and some of them I've designed, but you know, sometimes the artist's like, I don't want to be a Throbblehead, so it doesn't get into production.
Oh,
Yeah,
My head's
like the
big
Beastie
enough. I
Boys
don't
or
need it
Chuck
to
D.
be on there.
yeah, dude, I want to be a Throbblehead. Shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
dope.
would have my own bobblehead. That'd be sweet.
And then for Paul Bear, I do a lot of like I'll go grab some samples.
Okay.
Some artwork of for their t-shirts, or he started a line of Mego styled action figures. So I did like a lot of the box art. So this is Disco Boy, Tom Savini from the movie Maniac.
Yep.
So I'll do all the artwork for that. This one is a Return of the Living Dead. We got Trash and Suicide. So I'll do the artwork for that. It's fun.
Oh, fuck,
You know,
that's awesome, dude.
You did the art on the box
Like the
as well.
the back cover and everything.
yeah.
That's
It looks
sick.
very Ed Repka influenced on that one edge there.
Thanks. He's the best. Yeah. So we've got probably at least a dozen of those now.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
most,
And you do clothes and stuff too for multiple companies, right? Or is
mostly
it just Paul Bear?
Mostly, yeah. I'm not exclusive. I'll do like whoever needs help, basically.
So if we wanted you to make us, how do we go about contacting you to do that? We just hit you up on Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be in
Yeah.
touch about that at some
Oh,
point
yeah.
for sure.
Cool deal.
So I know as far as your work goes, storyboard and stuff like that, a lot of it's probably like not always exactly what you want to do. So in taking that out of everything, the stuff that you do want to do, what are some of your favorite designs if you had to choose that you have done for bands specifically?
Oh, wow. Good question. I'm not really a fan of my artwork. Like I like work, I like doing it, and I like people to see it, of course.
Yeah, but
But
you
I'm
don't like to sit and look at it?
Well, I go, oh, what the hell? What was I thinking when I did that? Or I could do this better now.
Yeah, you see all the fucking imperfections from your point
Right.
of view. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So like this was
Like-
from 91? Yeah. This is from
Yeah.
91.
Yeah.
So when you look at that now, are you just like, damn, I would change this, and this about that, like immediately?
Sure,
But that's like one
yeah.
of the most, it's
Yeah,
another
now
iconic
too
Cold
much
as Life
time has
design.
passed. You have to leave it alone now.
Yeah. That's the one thing about being an artist. Like, okay, I can polish this turd till it shines, or I can move on to the next project. Sometimes if you got to say when and just move on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a learning experience. I guess if you're not critical and you don't see flaws, then you're not learning, so you're not getting any better. So there's always room for improvement. So just keep on keeping on, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I think
I like-
that's the curse of an artist in any form, music or whatever you're creating. You're always looking at your stuff like, damn, I should have done this or I should have done that.
Right.
But it's all building blocks. Like you're going to continue to improve. If you're going to keep doing it, then you should look at it as a good thing because it's room to improve. Like nobody starts off a master at anything.
Right. I'm done. I can't do anything better.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You just box yourself in at that point.
I have a musical question. Can you or are you going to be a part of any future Cold as Life recordings if they happen?
Yes. Yep.
All
Jeff,
right.
Jeff and the boys, we're kicking around some ideas now, coming up with some riffs. Yep.
Fuck yeah,
That's
dude.
cool.
Awesome.
I think when we interviewed Beast, he said there was something maybe happening with
getting-
Cold as Life and then maybe also some Hate Ink stuff too.
Yep.
Right
We
on,
like to
man.
More hating shows too.
Yeah, that would be cool. I didn't get to see the show that they did. It was October, right? Or was it later than that?
Yeah, they played up here
I
in
didn't get to see
October.
that.
That was
And
fun.
they played
Yep.
here in summer at the barn. That's when Jeff was here.
Oh, you're talking Alpena.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. When you said up here, I was just thinking Michigan in general.
Oh, no, yeah, I was talking about up here.
Yeah. Oh, shit. When Hate Ink played here, I was probably like 11 or something,
Oh,
or
yeah.
10 maybe. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I know that.
But it was a
Was
lot
that
of
the-
fun.
Was that the spider story I heard about?
Spider story.
I
Somebody
think
was
so. With the barn.
Trying to crush a spider and Beast got upset.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it?
I believe so. Yeah, because it was somebody like in the barn that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I'd have to go back and listen because it was a handful of episodes ago. But yeah, you're
That
right.
shit's funny. But that's a good time.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
yeah, that's
seen like
cool.
some pictures of it, but I would have loved to have been there, but born at the wrong time, I guess.
Yeah, shit. Always seems like you're born at the wrong time.
What
Yeah.
year did you guys graduate high school?
Shit.
2003.
2010.
All right, oh.
So I was born in 91, so that drawing that I just showed you, like was probably done before I was born.
Gnarly. But that's
Cool.
cool like that. Yeah, your fucking art transcends generations, you know? It's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, like this
Yeah.
poster, like I got that when the record got repressed, but I've had that hoodie for years and years, and just I've always looked at that design and always loved it. Like it's always stood out to me above all the other designs for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because it's colorful or what, but it's always been real iconic to me.
I've
That's
seen
cool.
people get that dragon tattooed.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Holy fuck, man. That's fucking dedication, brother.
Yeah, I read in
Yeah.
an interview that you've seen some people like over in Europe with some of your designs tattooed on them and stuff. What's that like to see somebody with your artwork on them?
It's a trip. It
Did
really
they
is.
know, like, did you approach them and be like, yo, I did that? Or did they know who you were?
No, they
Or
knew.
you just seen it?
Because we were playing, so they would come up to me and
Oh,
tell
right
me.
on.
I didn't know if it was just you're out exploring and some dude's got his shirt off and you're like, whoa, I drew that.
No, they would show me, or they'd have Donnie's artwork on there.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
The weirdest thing that ever happened to me, not the weirdest, but I thought was weird. Well, I was on tour with Roy's version of Cole's Life, and we were in LA, and we were at the Roxbury. What's the Roxy? What's that bar next to the whiskey?
The rainbow?
Yeah, we were at the Rainbow. I never been. I used to live in California. Never went to the Rainbow. I just figured it was all glam metal people.
Is
And
that the
Lemmy.
one where Lemmy was always
Yeah.
playing arcade machines
Yep.
at? Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. And they had the statue, so we went to check it out. We were in there, and there was a guy there, long hair. He comes up to me, goes, "Hey, I know you." Like, you do? He goes, "Yeah. Didn't you play so and so in like Germany with this band?" I go, "Yeah," because I was there. Like, fuck. So not the different band I was in, Blunt Force Trauma, which you had the CD.
Yeah.
We played the show, opening up for I think we played with Propane, and he remembered me from that show, which just blows my mind. It's like I can't remember people's names, but he recognized me.
And you were in
And
America.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
and I wasn't even in the same band. We weren't even playing. I was just hanging out with these guys. It's weird.
Some people are like,
They got
they have
that-
a real
they got
good
that,
memory with
yeah.
that stuff. Like, I'm pretty good with remembering names and faces, but I
Yeah.
don't know that I'd be able to pick that out of a crowd.
Yeah, I
That's
can't even
impressive.
remember the name of the club.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm fucking horrible with that shit. But no, that is fucking gnarly.
Jeremy,
What's
so it
up?
was a match. I also met Ron Jeremy that night. It was a magical.
Oh, it's
Oh my
magical
God.
night.
I
Fucking
think he's
A.
in jail right now.
Really?
Yeah, I read
Yeah.
some controversial stuff about him a while ago.
Yeah, creep.
Where did you meet him at? What was he?
He was at the Rainbow.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
That's wild. That's like not the person I guess I would expect to be there, but yeah, I don't know. You never know. I don't know Ron Jeremy personally or what he's like. I just know who he is.
Yeah.
And he was in that Boondock Saints sequel. That's about it, and obviously all the other
Oh
stuff.
god, I'm glad I didn't even remember that.
Oh yeah,
I
was,
do remember an old porno that he did called Cunt Busters, and he was dressed. Him, John Holmes was in it, and like two other. They're all dressed up as Ghostbusters.
I remember you telling me about
Fucking
that. Yeah.
sick, dude. I wish I had that poster still.
Oh, you had the poster?
Yeah, no, I
From
didn't
the-
have it. It was hanging up in the porn
The porn
shop.
store,
Yeah,
Whispers. Yeah.
Like Leah probably stole it. Actually, rest in peace. That's one of our friends. She worked at a porn store. She probably stole it.
Yeah, we used to have like this conjoined. There was a store called Concert Connections, and then right next door was a porn store.
And then next to that was a bar called the Dry Dock, which
Yeah.
up here, if there's going to be any sort of bar room shootings, it happens in that bar,
Really?
So
Yeah,
all
it
the
was,
good records are hidden under all the porn. So you had to go in there to get them,
Yeah.
It's
But
good
he'd be
times.
like the guy like selling like I was like 12 or 13 like building my first bowl and stuff at like Concert Connections, and he's just like, "Oh, go ahead, you're fine. Like it's for tobacco, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still 13, dude, but yeah." It's
Yeah,
it's
it's
exactly
fucking
what it's for.
Oh, it's
funny.
good stuff.
That store's been long gone though.
All the good ones are.
Yeah. So movies and stuff, I know you're a big horror fanatic. What was some of the early horror movies that got you into the genre specifically?
Besides The Shining.
Oh, well, yeah, like I said, I used to watch them all the time on the weekend or whenever they were airing, like Friday nights. And, like I said before, my parents got a divorce. So one way to entertain the kids is, go to the mom and pop before Blockbuster, rent some videos and just watch them over and over again. And some of my favorites, I'd say my top three horror movies would be not necessarily this order, but John Carpenter's The Thing, The Exorcist, and probably George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Those are probably my top three. They made the biggest impact on me. I wanted to be a special effects guy growing up.
Okay.
Yeah, like Tom Savini.
Exactly. And I would, subscribe to Fangoria as a kid, and just collect all those all those issues. It's funny because early on, if you got a Fangoria subscription, they let you put a little classified at the end of the magazine.
Mm.
So I'm a kid, I'm probably like 15 or 16 now, and I just wrote, "Is anybody like hardcore?" Right.
Yeah.
So I got all these letters. It's all hardcore porn. I'm like, oh man. But once in a while, it'll be for music, and I met some people that way. I got to trade some tapes from people in like New York. I got some demos.
That's
Tape
cool.
trade. Yeah, it was cool. But then once I found out how expensive special effects art supplies were, I was like, I can't afford to be an artist. And there was not really any schools for it in my area growing up. And I don't think my dad was cool with it. I'm not going to send you to art school for that.
Right.
Luckily, he sent me to Wayne State to be an artist, because that's kind of a stretch, right? It's like there's no guarantee. You always hear about starving artists. Like, what are you going to do? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, especially at that time where it was less of a thriving industry. Like, that was cool of your dad to be supportive like that, to be like, okay, like, yeah, I'll send you here. Like, you can, take your shot at it. And because
Right.
a lot of times, like, you hear that story where they were like, I wanted to be a musician, or I wanted to be an artist, or whatever, like the case may be. And the parents are like, well, you're never going to make it. Like, you need something
Right.
to have some sort of career that's safe to fall on, or whatever. Like, but it's good that you took that chance, and it's good that your dad was supportive of it as well, because that's not very common.
Yeah, it kind of everything fell into place. Now the challenge is to be relevant, because with AI, people are able to do it themselves, even if they don't know how to hold a pencil.
Yeah.
That's
So
fucked up.
that's a scary thing. So now I'm like, okay, try not to draw. I don't think my style is pretty cartoony, but sometimes if I spend a lot of time on it, I try and make it look realistic. I'm like, oh, you don't want to do that, because AI is going to smoke you in that department. So make it look like it's hand drawn.
Except I've noticed AI has an issue with hands. Like they haven't nailed the fingers yet. Like
won't be
sometimes
long.
you'll see an image and there's like 12 fingers conjoined, and you're like, damn, how'd that happen?
Yeah, and then bands are like creating the music videos with AI, and they're pretty fucking cool looking.
I seen High on Fire did an all AI music video, semi recently. It was pretty cool actually, but
Yeah,
they were getting roasted in the comments section, and I'm like,
out.
You gotta go with the times that
Like- yeah.
Right,
As long as their music isn't being made with AI, I'm fine with the music video being made in AI.
It does that too.
Oh
There's
yeah,
a
I
band-
know.
Oh yeah, it's
I've
crazy.
seen there was
when they crossed
was
the
it Capitol?
songs
Was
with
it Capitol Records, I believe, or Columbia? One of the
Beatles?
two, one of the major ones. Well, they did that Beatles thing with that was like a AI cleanup of Lennon's voice.
Yeah.
It was already pre-recorded, But they marketed, I can't remember the name of the artist, but there was an AI artist
yeah, I
that
remember.
came
They
out
signed.
with a song that they signed and
Yeah,
everything.
and then the backlash, they fucking shut that down
It got
quick.
shut down quickly, but I was like, how does that work? Like, where's the money go to? Like, whose royalties are these? Like, it just stays all within the company, I would imagine, as if they didn't already take a big enough piece of the pie as it was. They just took the whole damn thing.
Well, I think an AI, from a Capitol Records point of view, in my thinking, would be most people don't pay attention to lyrics. And if this thing can make music that's going to make people shake their asses, it'll work. I mean,
Yeah.
at least that would be my thinking. And maybe they jumped the gun, you know?
And they're smart enough to know that too. Like, they have a whole team of people working on that stuff, so they know what they're trying to market.
I could just imagine my mom driving, like, going like this. Like, you know what you're listening to? Nope, sounds good. You know? Crazy.
Yeah, it's scary.
It is. So your character style, like you just said, is pretty cartoony. When did you really start to like develop your own style? Because I know just from hearing other interviews with other artists and stuff, like people always have their inspiration that they look to for art, and then their art kind of replicates that. And then as they get better, they start to innovate their own things and become their own style of artist. When did that fall into place for you?
A lot of it is just doing what I feel comfortable doing, like I feel like I can accomplish. But some of my artists that I look up to that really inspire me will be Bernie Wrightson. He has a lot of black and white artwork, and his details and textures are just phenomenal. He does a lot of horror. Basil or Basil Gogos. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I should know. I think it's Basil.
It's probably Basil. But sounds fancier.
His color. He did a lot of famous monster covers. Everyone knows him. You've seen him 100 times.
Yep.
Just super color.
Are those heads that are behind you some of his, or are those yours?
Ooh, man. Those are. There are guys. He's out of Ohio, and I've drawn a blank on his name. No, he spray paints these.
Oh wow. Oh shit! I was thinking that was just like a sticker.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Oh, it's
They're
like
all
a
numbered.
wooden piece. That's awesome.
Epyon. Epyon. It might be 5, the number 5. But I just love them. This one's not lacquered, but yeah, they're cool. He's really good at it. He shows you how he does it. So I picked those up. And another guy that I really like, probably would be my favorite. I mean, I'm like a lot of people like Frazetta. Who doesn't like Frazetta? Norman Rockwell. It's just amazing. There's so many people that are talented. But I really, really like Jack Davis. And Jack Davis did a lot of horror, and he did a lot of Mad Magazine. So he was able to do humorous monster stuff. And I always thought that was really cool. Here's an example of the Jack Davis on the door there. That big Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you've seen his artwork before. If you picked up a Mad Magazine, you're going to recognize his style. And I just love that. So I kind of like humor. I kind of like have a certain sense of humor I like to incorporate. Sometimes it's not appropriate, or I don't think about it long enough. I just do it.
I think it depends on what the project is for too. Like the humor could go further one way than the other way, depending on who it's for or what it's for.
Right, and it could be an inside joke, and people are like, "What the fuck? What's going on here?"
Yeah.
But yeah, and I like. People tell me that I add a lot of detail, and I have like little hidden treasure or eggs or whatever, little things to look for that just kind of keep you looking throughout the picture. And I just sometimes I crowbar too much stuff in there, but it's fun. It's all just to entertain myself more or less.
That's cool. Yeah, I was really looking at the Warriors cover before this, and it's like shit in there. Honestly, I didn't notice until I really looked. Like with the dude, like little zombie dudes eating somebody like way in the back, like on the back of the fucking back, shit like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's one thing I wish I could have spent more time on is the surrounding tattoos.
Yeah.
He asked me, what do I think of my artwork? I go, I could have spent more time on that. I could have thought that out. Like for some things, like I think I incorporated a couple. Actually, let me go look. Hold on. I got like a little canvas here, but like,
oh,
yeah,
nice.
I wish I could have spent more time on that. But I got them signed. They actually we've developed a relationship. We're friends with them now. So a lot of times when they come play Texas, they'll stay at our house, which is awesome.
Oh, that's what's up.
Sweet.
Like I got a couple of roses here, Rose for Rose, my wife, and I got 2 roses because it represents my twins with Rose. We got
Okay.
Lucas and so stuff like that. And I always loved Black Widows. I don't know, just stuff that I like.
I've always thought drawings of, like, when you see a picture that somebody did and they draw, like, recreate somebody's tattoos, it's always cool to see that recreation of, like, somebody else's art going onto there.
Yeah, I always like that on Maniac.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah, like
see
on
he drew his
the back of
tattoos
that.
and the
or,
neck
yeah, the
and
Life of Pain stuff. Yeah, for
the
sure.
masks. Yeah, that shit's cool.
Yeah. And nowadays, everybody's got tattoos and bands like their pictures drawn, and sometimes you got to draw their tattoos, and that's
Probably got to be a pain in the ass to recreate that. Because you can't
Yeah,
always get a good image of it, so sometimes you probably got to improvise. Like, okay, that looks like it might be a shark, but
Fuck that. They're wearing a hoodie.
Yeah,
Just
it's
those
long-
sleeves.
And I'm not gonna lie, if I'm on a schedule, if I find a picture, a good photograph of it, I'm gonna Photoshop that fucking.
Yeah, for sure.
I would, yeah.
I'm because the artist drew it. I'm not gonna redraw the artist.
Art.
I mean, maybe I'm just being lazy, but
No, I would do the same
Truth be
thing
told.
because if you're on a deadline or you have a quota or a schedule that you're on, like you want to
Yeah.
get that out. Plus, like you want to do right by the artist and the person. So you're
Yeah.
like, well, what if I redraw this and it doesn't quite resonate with the same style that they meant it to be? And artists have that respect for other artists in most cases. So I would do the same.
right. Yeah, some artists don't like you finishing their tattoos. I don't know how they feel about you redesigning.
Yep. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that's a no-no in the tattooing community is finishing other people's tattoos unless like somebody died, you can't get it finished, or like
Right.
the artist
Or
is
they
just
move.
like, I'm done, or they move, or
Yeah.
So there's circumstances, but in most cases it's respect to the artist, like to have them finish their piece. Like that's what they created. Why have somebody else finish the job? It's
So
not
what do
like
you-
it's building a
I'm sorry.
house. Go ahead.
So when you're drawing and shit, I assume, do you listen to music when you're drawing?
I do.
What are you
Or I'll,
jamming?
like, who am I jamming?
Yeah.
It can be a variety. Like yesterday, I listened to Queen, and then I listened to the Mentors.
Fuck
It's just
yeah, that's how we are. We're all over the place.
kind of weird.
That is a
Or I'll-
polar
I like-
opposite.
Yeah.
I do a lot of Kill Tony lately. I've been on a Kill Tony or Big J Okerson comedians.
Gotcha.
So I don't have to look up all the time. You can just listen to them.
Right. That's cool. You got a lot of
Yep.
records over there. How many you got, do you think?
I don't know. Not enough.
Never
Well,
enough.
Yeah, I hear that.
Oh.
Have you been
I-
collecting your whole life then?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few that I bought that I know I've had at one time that disappeared. Probably either I
Yeah.
traded them or lent them. But overall, I've kept everything pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's cool.
And then sometimes I fucking buy the same one over and over again by accident. It's like, oh, I got 3 copies of this. Fuck. So
I
where
I don't want to
Discogs
say
comes
this,
in
but
handy.
I have done that a few times.
I've done that too. You're at a store
Yeah.
and like you're like second guessing yourself. Sometimes you
Yeah.
don't have service in
Shit, I've
stores
done
for
it
some
here.
reason.
Like, hey, hang on, man, I gotta go home and see if I have it or not. You
What?
know, like,
I've got a lot of
I'll-
customers that do that, and
Yeah.
I gotta be like, dude, you already bought that like a week ago, and they're like, no, I didn't, and I'm like, I will hold this. You go home, check, call me.
and they're like, yeah,
And a lot of times they're like, oh shit, you're right, I did buy it. I'm like, I know, I got the sale written down right here.
when I go to shows and watch bands play, I like to support the bands and buy some merch. And I'm
Yeah,
always, I know that's the first thing I do. But someone like, do I already have this? And then I'll be like, hey, Lucas, can you go check out my record?
Yeah.
Have this? And text me back. Yeah, you got it, dummy. Like, okay. So if I buy something else,
Do you keep your stuff alphabetically, or is it in a I know where it's
Yeah.
at type of thing?
no, it's alphabetical.
Okay. That's good for if you need somebody else to, because there's been times like when I had a smaller collection where I'm like, okay, like here's jazz, here's like hip hop, here's this, that, and the other. and it's in an organization system where you're like, I know where it is, but if somebody else comes in, they're gonna be like, why is this next to this, and where is it? And you can't find shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty easy to track down.
Yeah, once you get over 500 records or so, you gotta fucking alphabetize them, and you start losing shit. You know, you're like, fuck, where'd I put this?
Do you
Yeah.
have what's that Red and Black Mentors record name that everybody? It's a real sought after album. I can't think of the name of it, but it's got El Duce and the Hood and stuff on there.
Is
You
it a
got-
drawing?
No, it's a record.
Oh, but is it a drawing or a photograph?
Oh, it's a drawing, I believe.
Oh, I think I might listen to it yesterday. Is it the one with? It's the girl, and she's topless and has like a Mentors
Yep.
tattoo.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I can know what it is. That's why I listen to it. I think I want to see some like ass grass and something. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
they all had like ridiculous names.
That's funny.
And I read Al Jorgensen's autobiography like a few months ago, and he had some wild El Duce stories in there, like he was just like, he's a great guy, but he's just the biggest idiot that you've ever met in your life. Like, they got signed to a record label, and their whole advance was like paid in beer, and like just they were bringing in like pallets of Miller Lite or whatever it was, and then like that when he died or whatever, the story about that, like some guy was like calling out for him, like yelled his name out, and he was just acting like an idiot, and then got stuck on a train track, and that's how he went.
Yeah, was the guy's name Alan Wrench by chance?
I don't.
There's some
It's been a handful of books ago, so I can't remember specifically. I know I got the page marked in the book, but I'd have to look back.
There's an Allen Wrench conspiracy.
So the album's called Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll.
Yeah, that sounds fitting. Yeah.
I've met him. We watched him play at Blondie's a long time ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never like really got huge into the band. And obviously never seen them live. They disbanded when I was super, super young. What is it like seeing those guys live? Because that had to be quite an experience.
They were pretty hammered. It was a little sloppy, but what do you expect?
Right.
I mean, I'm coming off as a Mentors aficionado. I appreciate it, but the only reason I started listening to them was because something popped up on YouTube about El Duce.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, right on.
Then they went from that to like some more paramedics, send more paramedics, like a thrash thing. It's like sometimes YouTube will send me down a rabbit trail.
Yeah,
Just
those
different
algorithms will fuck you up sometimes, man. You'll be down for a
YouTube's-
while.
YouTube's good for that, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you watch this documentary by chance? The Dope Hookers and Pavement documentary on Cass Corridor scene? He's gonna pull
This
his
one?
out. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like that one.
Yeah, we all have them.
What number do you got?
Oh.
866.
I don't remember. Where's it numbered at?
It's on the bottom.
What do you have? 866. Mine's
I
at.
have 1,000.
I left mine at home. But now I want to know. I gotta look.
So if you look at it from here, it's right there.
Oh, I was looking everywhere else. I got 328.
Oh, look at you. I did watch it. I watched it when it first came out, streamed it like the second they came out. I loved it. And then I picked this copy up off of John from Negative Approach.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is hardcore.
Yeah.
So they only have a few copies left, so I grabbed it because I want to check out that booklet inside. I heard it's pretty nice.
Oh, it's
Yeah, and
awesome.
It came with like the guy that directed it. He included like another one of his movies that he did that I can't remember the name of. I don't have it on me, but
Okay.
I remember that was limited to like 1,000 as well. And
Oh, cool.
did you ever get to go to any of those Cass Corridor shows at the time when they were happening?
With Negative Approach?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I was born in '69, December.
Okay.
And so I got my license in '86. So as soon as I got my license,
You were.
that's when I
you're out
started
of
the
there.
shows.
Yeah.
They were already done by then. I didn't have the fortune of having an older brother or a cool neighbor that was into this stuff that could show me the way.
Right.
I kind of fell into the music. Can't really remember what happened first, but was being in high school and someone gives you a tape. Of course, it's like we skate. You know, you've seen Thrashers, you've seen bands advertising Thrasher, and they'll give you a mixtape. Everybody has the same story, and you just say, "Wow, this is phenomenal. This is great." And then visually, I hadn't seen any shows yet, but I was in art class and there was a guy there. I don't remember his name, but he had a VCR for sale. And at the time, back in the day, you would get 2 VCRs so you could copy movies or whatever. Sir. And so I picked up a second one, and he forgot that he left a Dead Kennedys live.
Sick.
And I popped in and I go, what the fuck is this? And I had heard of the Dead Kennedys, so I was familiar with them. I might even own some stuff, but I watched that video maybe 20 times, and I even lined it up. So friends, before he said, hey, I need that tape back. So I got it back to him, but I was hooked by that. And then my sisters are like a little bit older than me. Like she was a senior and I was a sophomore, and she went on like a senior break, and she went to Toronto, and she ran into, she met these punk rockers, and they're in a band called Death Sentence, and they're kind of like GBH, and they're from somewhere, might have been Toronto. And she brought that tape back, and I stole that from her, and I wore the shit out of that. I thought it was great. And then once I got, my license, I started hitting the record stores. And I remember going in Sam's Jams in Ferndale. I bought like the Cro-Mags Age of Coral. I bought Misfits Earth AD, and I bought a Minor Threat album, all at the same time. And once you got that in your lap, you're done. You're hooked.
Yep.
There's no going back. So I would just go to the shows all the time. And then in the Gray Skull was around, and I'd go there every weekend. I didn't even know who was playing. Sometimes I'd be paying fare. I go, who's playing tonight? Oh, Beyond Possession. Fuck, that's awesome. It's great. So I'd be content. It was a great hangout because you got to see so much stuff. My first show there was Descendants, and I'd never been in the pit before. And when they got on stage and they first started playing, all these huge fuckers were slamming and I was like, ow, this is adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And I was dating a girl who's actually a year younger than me, who was going to the show. She would consider herself a punk rocker at the time. And she opened my eyes to a lot of good stuff.
Which was rare for a girl at that time, to my understanding. Yeah. Like, it wasn't it was mostly dudes.
And what was cool about her is her dad was an artist. His name was Ross. The last name was Ross. I can't remember his first name. But he was an artist for, like, the Free Press. And since he worked at the Free Press, people would mail, like, records. They would get, like, these promo copies. And he would bring all these records home, and some of them would be punk, because he knew that she would like them. And she gave me some of them, and I still have them.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Yeah, those are... I mean, I wish I would have kept everything that I ever got from when I was younger. I unfortunately had pretty much every CD I collected at a young age stolen from me, so I've never been able to get them back, so I, built up past that, but... There's some things that I miss. And when we were talking about MySpace earlier, there's some bands that I found on there back in the day that, I cannot for the life of me remember. But I remember buying their CDs. I remember one black metal band out of Colorado that I've for years tried to hunt down. I know it started with a C. That's all I got.
Oh, shit.
And I've never once been able to find it again. I scoured MySpace, everything, could never find it. It was so disappointing. Out of 400 plus CDs, I was like, if I could just get just that one back, the rest I feel like I could replace.
No, I was pretty good about hanging on to shit. Aside from what you said earlier, Craig, about possible lens that didn't come back, or crazy ex-girlfriend might have stole something, or
Yeah. I pretty much collect everything. I mean, I have all those original drawings, all those flyers I drew, that dragon, everything. I still have that.
Oh, you still have the whole original piece for the dragon?
Oh, that's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's got to go down in punk rock hardcore history museum at some point.
No shit.
Oh, just joking. The only thing I really got rid of, a few albums might have disappeared. I think I got rid of 20 old hardcore punk shirts because then I got too big and outgrew them.
Right.
But other than that, I keep everything.
Yeah, some of that. We just interviewed a guy that he does all vintage clothing and stuff. Some of that stuff is way
Luke
up
from
there
Mad
in price
Vintage
now.
Yeah. It's
Which
crazy
is
what people.
bizarre because you'll see it like just beat to shit, and they're like, "Yeah, $300," and I'm like, "Damn!" Like that wasn't even close to $300 when it came out.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. We're in the camp of it's cheaper to get new, and I'd rather have crispy stuff than raggedy shit.
Yeah. Although I did
yeah.
pay like $80 for this T-shirt, brand new.
There you go. That's pretty cool. I'm not a purist. Like, if I have the copy, I don't care what pressing it is. It'd be
Right.
nice about the original pressing, but I'm not going to spend $400 if I can spend 30.
Right. Yeah.
Agreed.
I'm the same way. Like, especially if you're just a collector that's like grabbing a handful of things and you're grabbing them because you love them, then I could understand like forking out the cash for original this, that, and the other, because you're probably going to frame them, set them up as sort of collective pieces. But if you're buying to play and you're repeatedly buying multiple albums a week or whatever the case may be, like to spend $400 on an original pressing where you could spend $400 and get, like 10 albums or whatever the case may be, or more if you're buying used, I'm always going to go the cheaper route. You get more for your buck.
Same here, exactly.
Yeah, and it's like we play them, we don't frame them, you know.
Yeah, I don't have anything sealed really. Like everything that I buy I play it. It goes into a crate next to my turntable before it goes on my record shelf so I can make sure it's open, sleeved, played, all that stuff.
Yeah, since you guys have the record store, it's bad news to leave the cellophane on there. Doesn't that warp the record, more or less?
It can if it's too tight. Like on gatefolds, it's not as common because usually the cardstock on the record jacket's a lot thicker. But like in a single album, like for example, like this, like Hate Ink. This didn't come in poly or in a shrink. This came in like a poly sleeve. But a lot of times, like what'll happen is it'll get too tight, and then it'll bend this center, and then you'll get like a wave pattern going on there.
Yeah, like that.
And it also, if you're like in a humid area, like that shrink wrap can keep that humidity inside, so it'll discolor the record and everything like that. But what I always do is open it up and I cut out hype stickers and then just put them in the record jacket and put it in its own different sleeve, inner and outer sleeve.
Right on.
No, I
Now,
noticed. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, good question. When you store your records in your record collection, do you pull the vinyl outside of the jacket and put it in the back, or do you keep it in the jacket?
I always put it in the back.
I keep it in the jacket.
Yeah,
So do I, but I don't. Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Here, like this. Like this is Declination.
Yeah.
The record is behind there.
Uh-huh.
And then the record jacket. Now, I do that not because at one point in time I did do it because the people say it adds ring wear over time, etc. I think as long as you're storing right and not compressing your shit super tight, you're fine. What my thought process behind it is when I'm taking it out to play, I don't have to pull the whole record jacket out, open it up, pull the album out. I can just go in the back of the record and take it out. So I'm not handling the record jacket quite as often, so it's not getting fingerprints on it and whatever. But not that I really ever have dirty hands, but it's just easier when you're shifting through records to pop it on.
Now, my argument is I keep mine the other way, and I used to keep them on the outside, but room, for one, takes up a lot more room.
Yep.
And then, like you said, if you have it out like this, maybe some shit can get in there, maybe not.
Oh, I always turn.
You turn it?
I turn
Okay.
it so there's no entry in the top.
But I saw an old guy who bought the Germs' first record when it came out and had it, an original copy, you know, the one that's just black with the blue circle, and he's kept it in there just like, you know, normal, and it didn't have a spot of fucking ringware on it because he kept it in a poly bag. So
Okay.
the ring,
And also,
so the
you
ring,
probably didn't cram it in
yeah, it
between other
transfers,
albums.
you know, it however transfers the ring to the outer sleeve. So
Cool.
that's why I do it that way, for room, really, because it takes up a lot of room with the double.
So while we're on the topic of record collecting, outside of like punk and hardcore stuff, do you collect anything else for records musically?
Well, I'm pretty much mainly hardcore. I do like punk, and I got some metal, but little classic rock. But
Yeah, I know you mentioned Queen, so I'm sure you have some Queen stuff.
Yeah, not as much as I would like though. Um, I do have some soundtracks because nowadays like Waxworks or something have killer artwork, and I like the artwork for a lot of horror movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Graham Humphreys is another artist I bow down to. That guy is amazing. I don't know if you guys know him, but
Yep. I've seen his stuff
in the
before.
UK, he's amazing, really good, and he'll do some album covers.
Yeah, Waxworks. They recently did like Dawn of the Dead and Evil Dead 2 represses, and the artwork on those things is just immediately eye popping. The Texas Chainsaw 2 one that they did like a couple
I
years
got that one.
back.
I got that one too.
That's right. Yeah, I think I sold you that.
Yeah,
Didn't
you
I?
did.
Yeah. Okay.
No, they do. You said that The Thing is one of your favorite movies, which I'm sure is anybody who likes that fucking shit still stands up to this day. The
I think that
effects.
still to this day, that's one of the most unique horror movies there is.
But Waxworks put out a version of it that was fucking sick with the art and shit,
Yeah.
but it was gone, man.
Yep, I tried to get it.
You
It's
think
sold
you
out.
couldn't get it either? You don't.
Uh-uh.
All right, I don't feel so bad now.
That's how Evil
No.
Dead 2 was.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
just
trying to get some for
gone.
the store. Because I have wholesale set up with Waxworks to order, like, when something comes out that I want or what I know customers will want. And I went to go order that Evil Dead 2 thing. Like, I got the email, got sidetracked for about 2 hours, maybe 3, went back to go reorder it. It was gone. I was like, God damn, that was
I hate that play.
fast.
Yeah,
They did a double disc of Taxi Driver as well, with like a lot more music than the original. And that's like one of my favorite soundtracks in films. Same thing, man. Couldn't get it. Fucking, and the cover was all redone. It was cool, man. All drawn instead of photography.
Yeah, I like the way they redo their jacket layouts
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
cool.
It's always just the artwork alone on that stuff is worth the price tag to me. Like, even if the
yeah.
soundtrack is not the best soundtrack always, the
Mhm.
artwork is always top tier.
That's kind of where I'm at with the Friday the 13th ones, where it's like, man, the artwork's killer, but
Yeah, but the soundtrack
it's
for
like,
like Friday the
it's
13th
so
7 isn't like
yeah,
that
it's
great.
not that desirable,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Right.
no,
Yeah,
they do a
sometimes like
fabulous job.
sometimes movie posters are better than the movies.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah,
have
that's
a
a whole nother
handful
thing,
of like
too.
old movie posters. I got some in another room over there, but it'd take me a while to dig them out because it's cram packed with stuff. But I don't think we
I
have
got
any.
3 Taylor Swift posters for sale right now if you want them. I'll give you a deal. We'll talk later.
I don't think we have any movie posters. Oh wait,
We got
Probably worth.
Fridays right over there.
there's a Superfly above me. If you can
Oh
see
yeah,
that.
Oh.
Superfly.
Cool. Name some movies that you guys dig.
Oh, we're all over the place.
I'm into I'll be like
Yeah, go
Taxi
ahead.
Driver, Full Metal Jacket, like Kubrick, anything he does.
Yeah.
Shit, man, I'm all over the place when it comes to that. But horror wise, I'm in the '80s, man, because that's what I grew up on.
The best.
The Freddy, Halloween. I
Yeah.
fucking love Michael Myers. Halloween 4 and 5 were like I grew up on because that's what they were showing on. Like what were you talking about? Creature features. So when
Yeah.
I was younger, I stayed with my grandparents a lot, and my grandfather was like a fucking movie nerd. So he would let me watch pretty much whatever. Like I watched The Shining with him when I was like 7. Like totally inappropriate shit, but like it was
Yeah.
cool. So that's what I remember getting into is watching like crazy shit like that and just I don't know. It was cool.
Yeah, when I was
Well,
younger, it was more like slasher killer stuff. But like as I got older, I like the more like psychological horror things, like Jacob's Ladder and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I still love all the old classics like Hellraiser, Reanimator,
Nice.
like all stuff like that. Anything out of the 80s is usually pretty damn good. I feel like for a while there, like horror kind of lost its touch, like early 2000s. Like it was like right after like The Ring and stuff came out, like it started to not be quite as appealing to me. Not that they were bad movies, they just didn't have the same effect. And maybe that was an age thing. Because when you're younger watching that stuff, it's kind of like you're on the edge of your seat a little bit, and the scare factor's still there slightly. And then once that scare factor goes off, it seems like they're not quite as enjoyable, but they become enjoyable for different reasons, like as you get older.
Godzilla's on the top of my list.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like anything.
I
Did
like
you see the new Godzilla
Did I
King
see
Kong movie?
the King Kong. Yeah, I watched it. It was fucking
Was
awesome.
that shit's
It was-
crazy.
I didn't see it yet.
I seen that one, and then Godzilla -1. I watched that too.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Did you see that one? Godzilla -1? Oh,
I don't
you
think
gotta
so.
see that. That one's so good, dude. From a monster point of view, like way better than it's done old school, like you know what I mean? From
Oh,
the Toho company.
Is it
Is
what?
it recent? They come
Yeah,
out just now?
It was the first Godzilla movie to get a fucking Academy Award
Yeah.
for special effects or something.
Wasn't it
Wow.
like, it was like 2 years ago now, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Probably
maybe
somewhere around there.
2021. It
It's
took a long
relatively
time to
new.
get released in America for some reason.
I think it's on Netflix, or it was. There's like an American version where it's dubbed poorly. And
Just
then
like
there's
the
the
original.
Japanese original one. So I watched the American one because I watched it with my son. And he's like, oh, I don't want to have to read subtitles the whole time. So I'm like, okay. And so we watched the dubbed version, but the mouthing is just like old school mouthing where like you have, they're saying something,
See, I
but their
love
mouth
that
is
shit.
nowhere near what they're talking about.
So
And
bad.
It was cool because it added sort of like that old feel to the movie, but if it were like just me up to me, I would have just watched the original Japanese version just because I love kung fu movies, so watching Japanese stuff to me is no problem at all to sit and read subtitles. I don't care.
There's a gallery here in Austin called the Guzu Gallery, Guzu, and they have a lot of like shows. Like they'll ask artists to contribute artwork, and one of them was a Godzilla theme because they do a lot of the figures and stuff like that.
Mm.
I can, but and they assigned me Shin Godzilla.
Fuck
And
yeah,
like,
dude.
So I watched the movie. It was cool. I liked it a lot. But that piece that I did for that, I actually did 2 Godzilla shows. That was the best selling artwork I think that I've had yet. Out of
Really? For
everything.
the Godzilla, yeah. I can
Well,
see
yeah.
that because he's iconic as hell.
Yeah, I was surprised.
But
That's
that's
cool.
surprising that it wasn't like, because I've seen some of your horror work. Like, I seen a Reanimator picture you did, a Shining picture you
Did
did.
you do
but-
that Dead Alive t-shirt? Did you do that drawing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fucking sick too, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, those are all Paul Bear Press. Now with that Dead Alive one, there's so much going on in that. I would like to see another version, where it might be like a black ink on a white light colored shirt. There's so much detail you can't catch when it's on a dark shirt like that.
Yeah.
But thanks.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
I'm also big into like crime movies too, like Scarface and Casino and
Oh, yeah,
Goodfellas and that sort of thing. Like, I just rewatched Brooklyn's Finest the other night for the first time since fucking a long time ago. I forgot how awesome that movie was, how like all the stories tie together at the end and everybody like sort of meets up. I thought that was really cool. Like Training Day, I love that movie.
Training Days of shit.
Pretty much anything Denzel Washington's in, I immediately am sold on it. Like, to me, the guy he's had not bad movies, lesser of quality, but like they're still good. Like, he's a phenomenal actor all around the board.
Did you see the trailer for Gladiator 2?
Yep. When I went and watched, I think it was Deadpool, Wolverine.
Oh, okay.
They had the trailer for Gladiator 2. And
I
I remember
haven't seen
hearing
that
the
yet.
announcement, and I was like, oh, okay, like, how are they going to do that? But it's Marcus Aurelius' son, I believe. And then, like, Denzel seemed like he was some type of praetor or something like that. It didn't say in the trailer for sure, but once I seen that he was in it, I was like, okay, it'll be good. But before that, I was like, I don't know, like it's been a long time since that movie came out. Is there really anything like worthwhile to do? But I can't imagine that he would sign on to it if it was bad. So
Yeah. Plus, it's a Ridley Scott, so that's good.
yeah,
Right.
And
if Ridley Scott wasn't doing it, I wouldn't even fucking think twice.
yeah, and he's another that pretty much hasn't done like a bad movie that
Like,
I
look
can
at,
think of.
I mean, this isn't Ridley Scott, but like, since it reminds me of it, the Warriors cover, But like 300, fucking sick. 302, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think like that happens. So like they unintentionally, they didn't know that was going to be the success that it was
Oh,
when
for
it came
sure,
out.
for sure.
So
But
then
Sin
like
City came
after,
out before it, so they kind of knew.
Yeah, that's true because they kind of But I think when they came out with the second, they were like trying to live up to that expectation and just missed the mark altogether because they like had it in mind. And sometimes a happy accident is the best accident. Like some of the best movies were never meant to be great movies that just ended up becoming lifelong cult classics.
I don't know. I kind of want to watch that, and I might do that later. I haven't watched that movie in a while.
300.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. I don't know how to think about it.
I remember like when that came out, like everybody was Sparta kicking everything, and it was so
Oh,
annoying
Jesus.
because like you'd be at the grocery store or something, like somebody'd Sparta kick your cart like out the store and shit.
I'm glad I missed that. I'd be Sparta kicking ass too.
I remember Pat did it one time, like walking out of the store, just kicked somebody's cart and was like, "This is Sparta." Like, I was like, "Oh, you fucking ass."
You remember that Soprano? You a fan of The Sopranos?
You know, I was a late bloomer when it came to Sopranos. You would hear the hype on shows, and I'm like, I can't sit through that many TV
Right.
shows. Well, you know, when COVID hit and you got nothing to do but binge watch stuff, I picked up on it and fucking loved it. Best show
Awesome.
ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
since you know, it's like when fucking Ralphie there, fucking he's always talking about Gladiator and how badass it is, and he pokes the fucking one dude in the eye with shit in the back room and where all the girls are.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he'll be fine. He's like, and has like a fake mace. It's like, chill out, man. Fuck, boom, gets him in the eye, pokes him with a stick. It's hilarious.
That Spartacus show that Sam Raimi worked on,
Yeah.
that was really good. It had like that
Yeah, Sam
sorta-
Raimi too. I'll
sort
fucking
of
watch
Sin
anything he does.
City type of blood, like the 300, like over exaggerated, over the top bloodshed.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. So I'm guessing, Craig, you're like a more of a movie person than a TV show person.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I love Breaking Bad. I thought that was great. I like Curb Your Enthusiasm and Seinfeld and all that stuff. I love to laugh. Good. I like humor. I tried watching. I love Peaky Blinders. I thought that was great.
That was good, yeah.
I
I
tried
also love
watching
Seinfeld. I've watched that 100 times.
The Office. Game of Thrones. I tried to get into that, but just too many characters, too many names. I would get lost and I would fall asleep every episode. I try that one again.
It was kind of a slow burn to begin with. Like, it took a minute for it to really start to get going. Because I struggled with that show, too. Like, I watched it. I got, like, 3 episodes in, and everybody was like, well, you got to get to episode 5 or 6 or whatever. And I'm like, okay. So, then
Episode
you get
3.
to it, and then I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, somebody got gold poured over their head, and they just fucking, fell down and died or whatever. And dragons started to come and all that shit. But I actually never finished the show. I got to like season 5 like twice, and then I was never able to finish it.
I heard the last couple seasons aren't so strong. What was that? Sam,
That's what I heard.
what was the Sam Raimi movie you mentioned?
Oh, Spartacus.
Spartacus.
It was a TV show.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look at that.
So
And
that show.
Eastbound and Down.
Oh yeah, Eastbound and
Oh,
Down.
yeah, I love
Danny
that
McBride.
shit.
That was hilarious. The Spartacus show. The unfortunate thing about it was, so there's
Shit.
3 seasons and a prequel. The main actor that played Spartacus died from like leukemia or something like that after the first season. So they had to switch the main character in the second and third season. And they did a decent job at getting a guy that was relatively looked the same. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but he played the character well, but it was a big change. Like, you really gotta, like, I was really into the show, so I was pretty much like, well, nothing I can do, it's not that guy's fault, it's not the director's fault, etc. Like, the guy passed away, so there's nothing you can do. So you had to, like, kind of power through it a little, but it still holds up pretty well. But the first season especially, the whole thing is fucking awesome.
That's cool. I like Boardwalk Empire too. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was dope. We were talking
guess
about that before.
I do watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
The Gems. I watch my fair
But
share.
TV's morphed, like as you know, so
Now,
much.
There's more room for character
Well,
development
I mean,
in
it's
TV
just they're
than a
made
movie.
like films instead of like sitcoms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Get away with
yeah,
Yeah. Plus, like you have,
wieners and boobs everywhere.
and like in
F-bomb.
a TV show, you got 10 to 15, 20 episodes in a season. So there's however many hours in there, 20 hours, versus a movie like. You can push 3 hours or, a little more if you want to get past that. But for some people, it's hard to sit and watch a whole movie like that. So
Right.
it gives way more room for everybody's story to develop, everybody's character to kind of show their strengths, weaknesses, flaws, etc.
Yeah. If the movie's 3 hours long, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to a movie theater and sit for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But at home,
It's no problem because you got to pee, you can pause and like get up and do whatever. But
Right.
in a movie theater, yeah, it's the same thing. Although our movie theater just got upgraded to like real nice, cushy, comfortable, heated seats, so it's not that bad.
heated seats. That's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't even been into our new theater yet.
that's right. You haven't been there. I've seen like 8
I don't
movies
know,
there
man.
already.
Because I don't like the public, I guess.
The movie theater now, though, whoever's running it, I don't know, remember what the dude's name is. He does a great job, dude. Like everything's affordable. Like it's not overpriced. Like I remember before, because our theater shut down like during the pandemic, kind of like everything kind of closed, and then the theater went out of business. So like we didn't have one for a while, and everything in there, it's real roomy, it's real comfortable, it's nice. You're not like elbow to elbow with somebody. You're not stepping in like sticky floors like you used to be, or sitting
Yeah, it's
in
still
like
pretty
garbage. So it's worth it. You'll like it for sure.
But it's like I noticed as I get older, I honestly don't watch as much fake shit. I'm usually watching documentaries or like historical shit now. It's or music related concert shit like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like you get older and you run out of time shrinks. So it's like I try to pack as much shit as I can into those hours, and sometimes TV just ends up off the list.
Yo. I see.
I get that. So I know you got to get going here soon. I just had one more question before we start to wrap things up. And you probably heard this question already, so maybe you prepared for it. But outside of your genre of music that you've played in the bands that you've played, what's something that you listen to that people would not expect?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard you ask this question before. Ooh.
You have an entire collection of hardcore and a little classic rock. You got like some Spice Girls in there. You got
I'm not that
Doris
cool.
Day.
I don't know if Spice Girls would make you cool.
shit. Yeah, I really need to broaden my horizons.
That's why we ask the question, because we're always curious.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I do like the Bee Gees. I mean, I'll listen to G. I'm not a band.
okay, there you
I don't
go.
mind because they're playing a bass. Some of them bass lines.
Yeah. Johnson Brothers shit.
Brothers
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say disco. I'll say disco.
Okay.
I don't have
cool.
any disco record, but if I'm on Spotify or Pandora and it pops up,
Yeah.
I
I like
so what on my
Bee Gees.
Motorhead list, I'll get Bee Gees for some reason. It'll pop up. It's weird.
That is weird. I don't. Sometimes those musical algorithms really like piece some shit in there that I don't know how exactly they made it fit in there, but like I don't feel like in any way, shape, or form Motorhead should be in a similar artist as the Bee Gees. Like the Gibb brothers were not
That's weird.
like. But I do like the Bee Gees, specifically Main Course. Like I love that record. I think that's their best album. It's the most good blend of disco and funk. Like they weren't quite all disco yet, but yeah, for bass playing, like funk is almost a staple. Like as a bass player, like Brothers Johnson, Mandrill,
Mandrill.
Isley
some
Brothers,
fucked up
like
names.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I love funky stuff. And some of the world's best bass players, like they studied funk. Like that's where they got that shit from. Like Les
Bootsy
Claypool
Collins, that
wasn't.
shit's dope.
Yeah, Bootsy Collins. Les Claypool wasn't studying like you know, Cliff Burton, like he was studying like Jaco Pastorius and like, you know, Ronald
Right.
Isley and like, or whoever the Isley brothers bass player is. But
Jocko's got my respect, but I just could not get into his music.
I like
Yeah,
Weather Report.
Yeah, the band.
yeah. Very cool.
But yeah, before we sign off here, you got anything you'd like to add, say, plug? I'm going to put all of your social media and everything in the episode description. So for anybody listening, if you're not familiar, check out Craig Holloway, check out his artwork. You've probably heard his music by this point.
Well, just keep your eyes and ears peeled for New Cold is Life. And hopefully we play some more shows soon. And hopefully at Hate Inc. as well. Gotta get on the same page with Tom. Tom's got a girlfriend right now, so it's hard for him to focus on any new band projects, but it'll happen. I'm just kidding, Tom.
He's like, God damn it.
In case you're watching.
I'm sure, hopefully he'll watch. But yeah, it would be cool to hear new stuff from the both of you, because I've always considered like Hate Inc. to be kind of like the little sister to Cult is Life.
I always liked the fact that Hate Inc. was more on the Negative Approach style of things. You know, it just has like almost had that more punk feel. I don't know, it's just faster and weirder.
Oh,
Yeah.
One thing I seen in an interview, somebody asked you like, what was your favorite hardcore band out of Detroit, and you answered Negative Approach, but followed it with, I'm almost insulted that you had to ask or something like that. I thought that was cool, because definitely they are one of the kings of that whole scene.
They're fucking kings of hardcore, dude.
And I was right there on stage like a stage potato, and I just soaking it all up. So good.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, that music's timeless for sure. And it's awesome to see like John still touring and still like have a following and all that stuff. So like good for him. I don't know that he actually ever has listened to us or anything, but if for some reason he does, shout out to John, and fucking cool for you to still be touring the world off of your music.
Yeah.
But all right, man, we'll let you get going here. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. It's been a lot of fun. We were definitely looking forward to this, and we'll stay in touch with you for sure.
Yeah, it's been awesome getting to know you, man, getting your story. Because you were, like I said before, you were just like that name
you
on
were
the
that
back of my hoodie.
With the little angry face.
Yeah.
The eyes, yeah.
Cool.
I always loved the OLLO, that the way you tied your name, and that I always thought that was a dope signature.
Cool, man.
Good luck at your meeting, dude.
All right. I'm burning the midnight hour all weekend on this one.
Yeah.
Good luck.
All right, man. You have a good day, and we appreciate your time. Thank you again.
Take care.